Good evening, you beautiful, beautiful people. It's the cup holder coach. I've got something to talk to you about today. Sales-wise, I want to talk to you about fanatical prospecting. Yeah. So, if you're not a fan of reading, you can get it on audiobook. But there is a really great guy that I love reading about, and his name's Jeb Blunt, and he wrote a book called Fanatical Prospecting, but I'm not going to go into too much detail about that. In essence, we are talking about what I want to talk to you about is you have to turn the odds in your favour if you're going to be really good at sales. Yeah, it's all about probabilities. You could do everything perfectly well, 100% perfect, and not get what you want. And you can do things really badly and get what you want. You know, they are exceptions. It's what we talk about when we talk about exceptions. You know, if you were selling cars, if you just opened the Yellow Pages randomly and just carried on calling, eventually someone will buy a car off you just by pure chance. But that's not what we're on about here, guys. That's a very low probability. What we're here to do is increase probabilities. And there are many, many, many probabilities that go from the start to the finish. Some things are in place before you even get involved, and some things after you get involved. But all of it matters, and it's to your benefit to understand that. But in terms of what I want to talk to you about in getting much, much better and increasing your success rates, however that may be, whether you're an appointment setter, whether or not you're a deal closer or whatever, in order to get more from your activities, you need to go about it in a fanatical way. And what I mean by that is you use all possible routes to getting what you want as possible. Me personally, I say there's three. Well, there's technically four, but the three are the telephone, email, and social media, i.e. LinkedIn. The fourth would be in person, but obviously we're in a bit of a situation globally right now, so there's not a lot of in person going on at the moment, and you know, that's a different subject. So what I'm going to talk about is telephone, email, and LinkedIn. Okay. One of the things that no human on this planet is capable of doing is multitasking. Yeah, I've got a great example for you, right? When you're decorating a house or a room, do you bang a nail into a wall and then paint the wall behind you, and then fix the top hinge of the door that you've just fitted, and then stick a light bulb in or a light fix in, and then stick the curtain rail up, then bang two more nails? No, of course you don't. Because why? Because that would be completely idiotic, wouldn't it? Yeah, it would be idiotic. Have you noticed how when you try and bang in the first nail, assuming you're not a nail banger by profession, the first one doesn't really go in right? It bends, or you make a stupid little weird hole, or whatever. And then the second one, I nearly got that one in, and then the third one, that one went in. And by the 50th nail, you're just sat there lining them up going bang in, bang in, bang in. Well, the same is the case for sales, yeah? You shouldn't be picking up the phone, talking to somebody, writing something down on a bit of paper, going to your CRM, putting a little note in there, or putting a callback or whatever, following up, finding some information that they might have requested, sending that via email, and then go, I'll have a little look on LinkedIn and see if I can find them. You see how mental that sounds? And I bet you any money that's what you do, right? Unless you're ahead of the game and you've actually thought about it and you've got yourself a daily strategy. And look, if you're not interested in having a daily strategy as a salesperson, you might as well just never ever listen to anything I've got to say ever again, nor anyone else for that matter. Every great salesperson says it, and it's only the people that bloody listen that actually end up becoming great salespeople. The people that think, well, good luck. You know, it's a bit like losing weight. If you want to lose weight and get fit, you have to exercise regularly and eat better. That's it. That is it. Exercise more, eat healthier. Why is there such a huge market for dieting and pills and all this other stuff? No, if you want to lose weight and get fit, exercise and eat healthy. Right? The same is for sales. If you want to get really, really good at sales, have a plan and stick to it. Best thing to do, take the plan from the people that are already phenomenally successful and copy it. Right? My point here is you can't do it all at once. So what you should do is you should have, if you've got 7 hours a day, 9 till 5 with a lunch or whatever, then plan your day out. The way I like to do it is call blocks. So 9 till 10, I'll set myself a little game of how many people can I ring. My target's 100. Yeah. So how many out of 100 can I actually get to within an hour? I'll remove all distractions. I won't be looking in the CRM. Yeah. What I would do is actually print the names of the companies. The company, the people I want to talk to, their contact number. It's not for everyone, but I would print it out just purely because it takes my attention away from anything but the phone in my hand and the piece of paper in front of me, right? But obviously if you've got a CRM open and you're going to do that, then that's fine. But the point here, guys, is that you want your downtime off the phone to be as close to zero as possible. You lose time hanging up the phone, dialing a number and waiting for it to pick up. Yeah. What you're trying to aim for is 60 minutes on the phone, which is virtually impossible in an hour, but that's your aim, okay? After that, you've got your second hour from 10 till 11, where you do your follow-up. So anyone that you did come into contact with, you want to follow that up with an email, and we can talk about how to construct an email and go into a lot of detail on how to be effective in that sense. But that's the point where you're going back to the people that you've contacted in your first hour, and then you're going to go into your CRM, you're going to update your records, you're going to leave your notes, you're going to set any callbacks that you've got arranged, yeah? And then you're going to get on LinkedIn and you're going to find that person, you're going to connect to them, and again, the message you use to connect to them is equally important. And then you might want to have a look at the 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 people that surround that person, right? And then you repeat that process, yeah? 11 till 12 on the phone, yeah? And then have your lunch at 12 or 1, whichever you want. Follow it up the following hour, then do another call block, and then do another follow-up, and then you can do your wrap-up at the end of the day. So actually what you'll have is 4 lists of people, like 4 lists of 100 that you want to target there. And chances are you might or you might not get through all of them, but the objective is to try. Now, people will go, well, what's the point in just ringing as many people as possible if you're not actually getting anything out of it? And the point is, it's the compound effect of what you're doing that makes it successful, right? So, well, other than that, if you just call as many people as you possibly can in an hour, the chances are you will end up having a meaningful conversation by accident. In which case, no, you're never going to hit 100 phone calls, 100 dials that connects in 1 hour. You're not. But you might actually get what you want out of it. You might get the appointment. You might get the follow-up or the meeting or whatever it is that you want. But if you don't, you've still hit that client. You're a name on a receptionist's mind. You're a post-it note on the decision maker's desk. You're something, yeah? And when you followed that up with an email, and again, I won't go into detail on that, I'll do that on a separate video. And then you followed it up on LinkedIn, all of a sudden, you start to become a familiar person, and that's the key word, right? It's the law of familiarity. Have you noticed now, if you just get a cold call, you tend to be very standoffish, whereas if someone has actually managed to get under your skin somehow, whether you come in and the receptionist goes, John Biscombe has left a message for you. He said that you were going to have a conversation. You're like, really? Okay. And then you get to your desk, and then there's an email, and you've got a voicemail as well, and it's from this John Biscombe. And then you're on LinkedIn. John Biscombe wants to connect. You go, what does this guy want? Job done. What does this guy want? You're in, yeah? So this is that cold calling. This is why fanatical prospecting is so important. There are varying studies, but from the varying studies, the experts tend to say it's somewhere between 7 and 14 times you need to get in someone's face one way or another before an action is taken, right? I tend to I think it's low. I think it's more like 7, personally, or less, 5 to 7. You can get what you want if you're very clever about what it is that you actually do with those touch points. And it's also timing, which is why having a daily structure of call, block, follow up, call, block, follow up, call, block, follow up, call, block, follow up, yeah, each day. That's all it is, man, is it's a process. So fanatical prospecting in that way, and we can go into it in a lot more detail, like I say, in terms of the messaging that you use. But you already know how to do an intro if you've watched my video on how to do intros. So that's what you're trying to deploy every time you make a phone call. You deploy that intro, which will make you very successful, or more successful. Actually getting through gatekeepers and getting to the point where you can actually have a meaningful conversation with the decision maker, because you've gone about introducing yourself and your company and the reason that you're calling and the objective of your call in a professional way. Okay, so I'll leave it at that for now. Fanatical prospecting, guys, it's not that you have to sit there day and night and do this, although if you carried on doing it in the evenings when, you know, social media like LinkedIn tends to light up a little bit, and you might find that someone actually accepts your connection request at 9 p.m, in which point you're going to want to follow that up there and then with a message to arrange a call. Not have a conversation with someone through LinkedIn. Just arrange the call, yeah, for the following morning. Then when you start your call block at 9 o'clock the following day, you know exactly who the first person on your list is. See what I mean? All successful sales is effective planning, yeah, a process and a structure that you follow. And the only creative part is when you're face to face or phone to phone with the person that you want to talk to, and you're trying to get the outcome that you believe is right for them. At that point, you're in creative mode. But even then, there's a structure to that as well. So, long video, 12 minutes, but I'll leave it at that, and we'll catch up another time.